Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And Midnight is looking like the most ambitious project that Blizzard has undertaken in recent times. It's looking like it could be something that completely saves World of Warcraft, sets it on an entirely new trajectory, or potentially burns everything to the floor, because there has been such polarization of the feedback with regards to all of the changes that they're looking to implement, whether it's related to add-ons or it's related to class design, whether it's related to simplicity, whether it's related to trying to be more inclusive of new players and beginning players. And they've really taken a different approach. They took it to heart that people criticized that they were only listening to the top 1% and their feedback and their criticism, but I feel like that is absolutely not the case, because you will see the most vocal outrage coming from some of the most competitive raiders at the moment with regards to the changes and some of the direction that's coming forward for this expansion. And now there's obviously been a ton of information. So in today's video, I wanted to break down some of the most important points to take away from it, because obviously we are in early alpha. The specifics of the classes are going to be ongoing and changing. Whereas the core philosophy, the thing that underpins everything, the thing that roots all of this, is what we really need to be paying attention to, because that is going to be, the end result. That's the target that they're trying to get at, and they might have a couple of missed arrows in the earlier stages here of development. But finally, when they've got all that aim precise from the feedback, these philosophies are going to be what creates the experience that we all have, and we all want it to be the best. So the first thing is related to healing. Now, whether you're playing in Mythic Plus and you're getting one-shot by monsters that nobody kicked, or you're playing PvP and you're getting one-shot by players and they didn't trade a cooldown in time and couldn't react fast enough, obviously pacing of damage. This has been an ongoing issue, and honestly something that they've brought up multiple times, and for some reason it just keeps ending up being one-shots. But with the stat squish, and with how hard they're pruning back a lot of the classes, most classes are losing a significant amount of defensive cooldowns. This means that they can then make healers more relevant and have healers have control of the outcome of damage output. The fact that they're going to be removing all of the add-ons means that they're going to be simplifying the encounters and simplifying the engagements, means that they don't need to account for add-ons and then make it more difficult, more complex with that infinite arms race that was just spiraling upwards. And if you're someone who just didn't want to download the add-on, you just kind of gave up, because you'd have no chance of competing in that regard ever, of trying to get to the highest level of play. So this is an important one, and maybe finally achievable due to the huge things that they're willing to undertake. So in the War Within, healing is generally considered very fast-paced, and healing spells can rapidly shift your raid from a severely damaged state to a nearly full health state in a matter of seconds. This is the core of this, right? It is stressful to react to rapidly changing health bars, and is very intimidating for newer groups, newer healers, to grasp what they should be doing at any given moment. Healers have a large variety of high power cooldowns they can rotate through, and to basically handle every major damage event they encounter, right? It's an arms race between the cooldowns and what the monsters are capable of, or the cooldowns and what the other classes are capable in PvP. So if you just dial everything back and maybe have one big exchange every once in a while, the rest of the damage can just be like an ongoing presence and be more threatening outside of these windows, but not completely lethal. So this way healers can be healers again and focus on triage, because that's when I've played a healer, that's when I've had the most fun, is when health bars are just kind of going down the whole time and you're playing like whack-a-mole on trying to catch up with the pace of the game, and not like, oh my god, I blinked for a second and I'm dead, right? I also think that this pace of the game is going to better fit a lot of us that are aging, right? And maybe our reaction times are getting a little bit slower as time passes. So making the game a little bit slower, making a new player friendly, maybe a little bit boomer friendly, is likely going to be received very well. So this is a philosophy and a goal that I really hope they can achieve, because they have set out for this in the past and kind of missed the mark, right? It always ends up devolving back into the really fast one-shots. I really, 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 really hope that they are going to be able to achieve this, because this is like the core integral interaction that leads to a lot of people not wanting to heal, and then when people don't want to heal, then the queues get longer and your time in LFG is longer. So this is, to me, one of the most important things, and we're going to be just looking at hopefully how they intend on addressing it. So in Midnight, we have made some changes with a goal of slowing down the rate at which you can heal up a party or raid from a severely injured state. So you're not going to spend all the time at 100%. I can imagine how many healers are just like traumatized, like if you see someone even at 80%, you're like, that guy can die in the next second. I got to get him topped. And now you're not going to be able to do that. So there's probably going to be some initial just like, what is going on here? Like, and just having to accept that people aren't going to be at 100% the entire engagement. We want healing to require less pre-planning of knowing which cooldown to use at which precise moment. That's another thing, right? Healers effectively are just cooldown traders. They're not really healers. They're just like, this ability is lit up. I need to press this to prevent all the damage from happening. Otherwise, it just kills my target. You're not really healing. You're like just trying to block impending death with one ability every whatever it is that you have it, and every 2 minutes, minute and a half, whatever it is, instead of just always constantly, oh, they need healing, they need mending, they need healing, they need mending. So I think having some cooldown gameplay is good, but it shouldn't just be everything. And right now it is quite literally everything. It's what makes games feel scripted or predictable, and I think that gameplay requires a lot more add-ons, as opposed to just kind of using your rotation effectively. You got to be knowing what all the icons are and what icons you have, trade with those effectively. Obviously it's a bit higher barrier of entry as well. We want there to be less ramp up of complicated ability sequences to get effective throughput for your spells. So here's what we are changing for healers. Talent choice nodes. Several major healing cooldowns are now mutually exclusive in talent choices, such as Resto Shamans having to choose between Healing Tide Totem and Ascendance. So that's a big deal. Taking down these really powerful effects, and you got to pick between them. It's also going to reduce keybind bloat. So they get to accomplish many goals at the same time. They may be able to finally achieve this world of triage focused healing, bring ability bloat down to make it better for new players, and create an overall amazing experience. Or maybe none of this works, and then we're just playing with 3 buttons getting one shot. I don't know. That is a concern that I have, but we will continue on here. So for Discipline Priest, you'll have to choose between Ultimate Penitence or Power Word Barrier. And that's a pretty significant choice there. Do you want the damage benefits of Penitence, the crowd control immunity of Penitence, or just the guaranteed zone denial of damage for a major interaction, whether it's in raids or PvP? Short cooldowns, iconic buttons like Prayer of Mending, Wild Growth, or Healing Stream Totem still exist and should still be potent abilities on their own. Several modifiers to these types of abilities have been adjusted, baked in, or removed. And this has been one of the main points of feedback, is that it's just like, ability bloat, there's too many keybinds, but there's passive bloat, there's too many passives. Your spell is modified by 10 different things. They increase its healing by 5% or cause it to do 10 other effects, and then it's just scaled into this monstrosity where it's just overpowering the mechanics, and then so the monsters have to hit harder, the players have to hit harder, and it's just, you just end up down this rabbit hole. So this is good that they're aware of that. These are like the very minute details that are very important. Consistency. Core healing spells like Chain Heal or Flash Heal have significantly fewer temporary modifiers that greatly increase their power. We have increased the base throughput to maintain their effectiveness. Again, just baking things into the core of the class, something that I've seen, and even for myself, have requested for some time. Time to react. We want to shift your focus away from rotating through several high-power cooldowns to selecting the right spells for the right situation. So rather than, a big decision every minute, you might be making a critical decision every 5 seconds. Do I use a faster heal or an instant heal, or should I use this longer heal? Can I be a bit more greedy? And those are the types of small decisions that I used to really like on Healer. There are a lot of changes across every healer specialization that we encourage you to read through and experiment with. We know we still have tuning to work on, and some Apex talents are still being drafted that will impact healer capabilities. The most useful feedback right now for us would be in those areas of what spells feel like they don't ever have a situation to be used in. Are there healing spells you still feel like you must have a bunch of specific criteria met to exclusively use the spell? How does the pace of healing feel in Midnight compared to your experiences in the War Within? And are there situations that feel like they are not reasonably able to be healed within the changes in Midnight? Please list specific boss encounters or abilities where possible. How does PvP healing feel with these changes? And thank you all for reading and participating in the Midnight Alpha and Beta testing phases. Now, to be fair, this is a big request of us when there's not like any content you can really do. I made a character and I was like dueling people randomly, but you're not max level and you can't get max level. You're level capped, I think, to like 82 or 83 or something like that. And so you can't really get a lot done. The duel that I had was I dueled a Ret Paladin. I'll probably make a YouTube short of it and upload it here pretty soon. It wasn't really fast. I wasn't getting one shot. And again, I had very low versatility because you're wearing just the random quest gear that they give you at the start. But it wasn't like, it's twitchy as it is on the War Within, where you're like, oh my god, a ret's looking at me, I'm dead. I had much more time to think about like maybe I'll do this or do that. So it was interesting because again, it's like this is like the first pass, and I'm imagining it's going to evolve more so. But it's hard to get like 3 versus 3 or battleground testing. I'm really hoping they enable the new training grounds, which is another really important fact, is that the PvP changes to get new players encouraged into trying PvP, so having more play against AI. I think they should seriously consider this for low-rated solo shuffles and maybe even battleground blitzes to have AI healers, so that players who are just starting can get just instant reps, so you can start playing the game right away and not have to wait for healers. Because for a lot of players at the the very bottom of the ladder, they just need games, and the long queue times are going to make it hard for them to get the experience they need. And an AI healer at that rating is going to be comparable likely in skill level, and at least just give experience to those players. So I would like to see that as like maybe a next step with the AI development if this goes off without a hitch. But they really want to make everything a lot more inclusive. They're improving the baseline UI. I was just testing these health bars on my Moonkin review. You can see the crowd control on the right. Entangling Roots didn't show up there. I don't know if that's a bug or not, but it's just an ongoing process. This is the first step. They have basically said everything that I have wanted, and pretty much any big content creator I've seen for like the last 5 to 10 years or something at this point. They've basically addressed every single thing. Now it's just a matter of executing on it and actually achieving that vision for Midnight, because if they can, this is likely going to be the most remarkable expansion we've seen of some time. So what are your thoughts on it? Does this have you interested? Do you think they can deliver? Let me know in the comments down below. What has your experience been viewing maybe other people's content? Because obviously the alpha is pretty limited in terms of access, but as we move and things become more open testing, I'm sure things are going to ramp up. And the beta is always seemingly getting tested a lot more than regular patches throughout an expansion. So I expect this to be the most thoroughly developed throughout this time, and it's got me excited to try things out. But they are taking some serious risks, some very, very serious risks to consider. But other than that, if you want to make sure you stay up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, not falling behind the competition, then make sure to smash the subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I will see you in the next video.